Everybody has heard of Australia. This piece of land and a few countries next to it is counted as a continent, the continent of Oceania. In Australia, you can find many different weird animals, and there are a lot of dangerous ones as well. You're not safe in the waters around this land either. If you feel like going swimming, you gotta watch out for sharks and extremely dangerous jellyfish that could kill you with one zap. But let's leave the sea and get back to land. Australia doesn't lack any dangerous animals, like this crocodile, saltwater crocodiles to be exact. The biggest and most dangerous crocodiles are saltwater crocodile, and you can find these guys around Australia. If you live in Australia or are visiting and don't know anything about the spiders in this land, you should run away immediately because there are some poisonous spiders that will kill a person with ease. If you visit Central Australia, you will see the most poisonous snake in the world, the inland taipan. The most dangerous bird also lives in Australia, the cassowary. If this bird is angry at you, it will smash his beak against you like a hammer and most likely kill you. And if that doesn't hurt a person, they will start smashing you with their dinosaur-like legs. Australia also has animals that were brought from other places, like rabbits, camels, cows, and sheep. And we talked about these guys in plenty of other videos. But let's get to the point of this video. We want to talk about the most famous and most interesting animal in Australia, the kangaroo. If you're visiting Australia and you see a kangaroo chilling in the water, do not approach it, because the only thing that kangaroo is interested in is drag any human or living thing inside that water and drown them. You might ask, what's wrong with it? Why would it drown animals for fun? Is it gonna eat it? No, it looks like it just does it for fun. And most of the time, the kangaroos do this to dogs. When a dog approaches a pond with a kangaroo in it, it doesn't realize how strong that kangaroo is, and there's a high chance it will get drowned. It's good to know that kangaroos have done this to humans as well, but to people that didn't realize how powerful this animal is. When you look at it from afar, it looks like a deer, but it's nothing like that animal. It's extremely powerful, and it doesn't need much to kill a person. Some animals have horns, some have teeth to bite, but kangaroos don't do any of that. Kangaroos have a skill of wrestling, boxing, kickboxing, taekwondo, and you can add kung fu to the list as well. A male kangaroo has to be very powerful because it will be fighting throughout his life to assert dominance to the female. When two roosters fight, they will fight each other to the death, and they won't stop until one dies. But when two male kangaroos are fighting, the weaker one usually realizes that he's not going to win this fight, so he backs off. And that is why we haven't witnessed a kangaroo dying in a fight. But why are kangaroos only found in Australia? About 160 million years ago, when all of the Earth's lands were connected to each other, an ancient marsupial used to live on this land, and kangaroo is part of the marsupial family. And this ancient marsupial used to live on this Earth that looked like nothing like today. Time passes and these marsupials get separated from one another, and some of them stay in Australia that's disconnected from the entire world. And one of those animals turned out to be a kangaroo. You have to know that this took more than 100 million years. And some people say, why don't we see evolution right in front of our eyes? Right now is nothing. Even 2,000 years ago to today, there's no difference, let alone a human lifetime. And plus, different parts of Australia has different kangaroos. And nowadays, there are 6 different kangaroos living in Australia and New Guinea, the island right next to Australia. A kangaroo pregnancy is very interesting. The baby stays in the mother's tummy for 36 days and they're born, but the baby is not ready yet. It has to stay in the sack and drink the mother's milk for about 6 months. And then after 6 months, it's ready to come out and it's ready to fight the other kangaroos and have fun. Scientists that examined the kangaroo and its fossils realized that about 20 million years ago, the kangaroo had legs like this. And it's the legs that are so strong that allow it to jump around everywhere. But before then, it was walking on all fours like a deer. But why does a kangaroo have legs like this? Because Australia is many open field, and a kangaroo has to run for a very long time. So it evolved in a way where it doesn't run out of oxygen in a very short sprint like dogs, lions, or any other mammal. In the 1970s, scientists were extremely interested to realize how they can run for such a long time. And after running some tests and seeing the oxygen intake, they realized that kangaroos barely use oxygen while they're hopping. The only time they use a lot of oxygen is when they're beginning to run. Then it seems like it puts it in neutral and just keeps going without really breathing hard. Hopping is very interesting because it reaches a speed of 30 kilometers an hour and it could keep this speed for 3 kilometers long. That's pretty insane, running at this speed for such a long time. This is with the speed of 30 kilometers. If the kangaroo feels danger, it could speed all the way to 70 kilometers an hour, but that's for a short period of time. We could say kangaroos are one of the fastest animals on Earth. We said one of, because there are other animals that are faster than kangaroos. Kangaroos are also bodybuilders because they have one of the most muscle mass out of any animal, especially its leg and tail. It didn't really bodybuild, but they're so active that they're continuously building muscles. Do you see the kangaroo's tail, how it's long and thick? That's the balance of the animal. And you could say the rear end of this animal weighs the same as the front end. And if it ever feels like falling from the 2 legs, the tail or front end could adjust and reach balance once again. So what does a kangaroo eat? Nothing special, just grass and hay. The same thing cows and sheep eat. Another interesting fact about kangaroos is that the people call a group of kangaroos a mob. And you could look at them like a mafia, and when they're together, they're not the friendliest animal in the world. Low amounts of water in Australia had made the kangaroo evolve in a way where it doesn't need water for weeks, but it does have to eat, but no water is needed for a few weeks. It's not like it does that for fun, but if there's a shortage of water, it will survive. When sheep and cows eat grass, the bacteria in their stomach digests the food and creates methane gas, and it's farted or burped out. Kangaroos do the same thing, but their stomach is much more efficient than cows and sheep, and that is why it produces much less methane. Kangaroos are much more active as well, and they're not standing around like cows all day. The kangaroo's stomach does something else that's interesting. It turns the food to acidic acid, and that means the kangaroo could use this acid to grow muscles. From all the 6 different types of kangaroos, all of them are big, but the biggest ones are the red kangaroos. The red kangaroo can weigh up to 90 kilos and be as tall as 2 meters, and that's like an NBA player. When a baby kangaroo is born, from the very first day they can walk and run, they start activities with their parents or sibling, and that is why they start growing their muscle at a very young age. And that is why you really can't find fat or lazy kangaroos. And this has nothing to do with male and female. Both of them have to go to weightlifting class. They run around and jump on each other's head for fun. The kangaroo is not a dumb animal either. If it's alone and sees a human approaching him, or it's angry at a human, it's not gonna pick a fight for no reason, and it will most likely run away. This is the same for other animals. It's not interested in fighting them, but you can't trust it because it is a wild animal. It might all of a sudden get angry and punch you, or worst of all, give you a double kick. Another interesting fact about kangaroos is that taller and more muscular kangaroos have an easier time finding a mate rather than the small ones or the less muscular. So how long do kangaroos live for? Their lifespan is very short because in nature, kangaroos don't live much more than 9 years. But under human care, they can live up to 25 years. If you were in Australia and confronted with a kangaroo, try to get away from it or change your path. If you're confronted with a group of kangaroos, you should for sure run away because they're like a mob and they will attack you.